one of the $1,000,000 questions I'm sure you asked is, what would Malcolm X be today? Like in terms of his leadership role and in terms of the progress from obviously 1965 to 2020.
Well, I think that we would not be in this predicament today because, you know, my father was about solutions,
Yes.
you know, and he spoke about, you know, things that just weren't realistic. You know, he was a realist and he was always looking for solutions to rid this oppressive element that existed for such a long time. And, you know, oftentimes we see the distractions. You know, when we look back in history, we can see how we were distracted to think that everything was fine. And, you know, one of the things my father said is that we can't just sit back and think someone else is going to solve our challenges. You know, we saw what happened to George Floyd right in front of our eyes.
Absolutely. And
understanding that what happened to George Floyd happened over and over and over and over again before we were able to record these kinds of killings, you know, these this brutality. And it continues to happen. It's happening right this very second. And so for my father, it was understanding what's happening and looking for solutions. You know, he said something like, you can't put a knife in my back 12 inches and pull it out. Well, maybe he said 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches and say everything's okay. The knife is still in my back. And it's not going to be resolved until you take the knife completely out my back and then address the blow that the wound made. And so we haven't done that yet. And that's where my father was. Wow. And much like is he your great grandfather? Great grandfather?
My grandfather?
Yes, your grandfather.
Yeah. Why is America afraid of the Black Messiah?
Well, why do you know, when we look at
or the rise of the Black Messiah, as COINTELPRO eloquently put it.
Right. I think you can look at us and you can see how great we are. Yeah. In spite of all of what we've endured, the Holocaust of Black people worldwide, and yet we still thrive, right? We still thrive. And, you know, it's just a very unfortunate situation because I think that we share, right? We would share some of the resources and the wealth and resources of the continent. We share by jumping in and doing the work. You know, all we ask is that you respect us as human beings and allow us to exist, to coexist peacefully. And so,
yeah, it's troubling to think that when you listen to the Ballad of the Bullet and you see 2020, it's like he told you in Detroit that this was the problem, and now